Everyone thought he was a degenerate simp in love with his sister, but his life changes when he gets on a weird version of Earth full of mages and demons where he has to fight for his life every single day against monsters. Arata was a dumb incel living in modern-day Japan where he attended school just like any average loser and was always hitting on his cousin named Hijiri, but one morning he has a dream darker than his future where he sees an ethot running towards him. Just like any other simp, he immediately tries to touch her, but it turns out to be a dream as he finds himself groping twin treasures of his annoyed blue-haired cousin. He tries to calm her down, but because of this unexpected morning achievement, Hijiri awards him with a beatdown. During breakfast, Hijiri was still upset, but just like an average Sigma male, Arata is just a chill guy who likes Alabama. He brings up a childhood drawing she made in which she was holding hands with him, which embarrasses her even further. They get ready and walk to school together when Arata notices that the sun has turned black, but Hijiri acts like everything is ok. Arata also spots a mysterious red-headed hottie in a school uniform who surprises him as she tells him to wake up or she will literally end his life. But before Arata could react, she had already disappeared. During class, Arata was wasting his parents' money by not studying and instead dreaming about his 2D girlfriends before remembering the mysterious warning he received by the redhead. Later that day, Arata finds Hijiri on the roof of the school where he asks her about the black sun in the sky. Hijiri acts very calmly and claims that he is acting retarded as the sun has always been black. Arata was still finding it hard to believe, but Hijiri decides to pull a move from Alabama and hands him her plots in return for staying with her forever. Arata is shocked and starts suspecting that this Hijiri might be an imposter. Remembering his training from Among Us, he starts asking questions which Hijiri manages to answer, but she gets caught when Arata points out that in her childhood picture, the sun she drew is yellow instead of black. Hijiri freezes, but then she breaks into an evil laugh like Jeff Bezos. Suddenly, the mysterious bombshell from the morning fires a bullet at Hijiri from a gun bigger than Rasputin's dong, which Hijiri easily blocks with a barrier. The hottie introduces herself as a mage named Lilith. Hijiri laughs like a smug villain, breaking off her illusion, and finally, the true conditions of the now completely destroyed city is revealed. Arata is confused, but Lilith explains that a couple days ago, a disaster completely destroyed everything, which triggers the dumbass's memory. 3 days ago, a black sun appeared in the sky, and the black light swallowed everything in its path. Hijiri handed Arata a grimoire and asked him to save himself. He confusedly watched her as she kissed him, and unlike your ex, she actually cared for him and wanted him to remember her. Soon, Arata finds himself in an empty world and begs the grimoire to bring back everything. The grimoire starts glowing like a cheap disco light, and everything gets reverted back into an illusion. Arata finally realizes that his IQ is lower than the temperature in Antarctica, as his dumb wish caused all the chaos. Lilith claims that she is investigating this disaster, and fake Hijiri surprises Arata by telling him that she's actually the grimoire. Just like Kim Jong-un, Lilith points the gun at Arata's empty head, giving him 2 world-class choices, either to surrender the grimoire and his memories or die. Arata asks Grimoire if Hijiri is still alive. On getting confirmation from Grimoire, Arata refuses both options and, like a total giga-chad, picks a self-made third option to learn magic and find Hijiri. He was allowed to do so because he already had a possession of grimoire, which only mages have. After some time, Arata arrives at the Royal Biblia Academy, the school of magic where Lilith greets him. On their way to class, Arata learns that Lilith is not just a thick-thighed thought, but also a teacher, which makes this degenerate even more excited. At the academy, Lilith introduces Arata to class, and a blonde yapper named Selena asks what kind of girls he likes. Arata idiotically replies he likes girls with big curves. Selena further asks if he can perform world reconstruction, and Arata, being an ignorant idiot, confirms it. Everyone hypes up because that is a magic only a demon lord can use, thinking Arata might be a low IQ moron but a potential demon lord candidate. In the headmaster's office, Arata meets headmaster Biblia, an even flashier idiot. Biblia explains that Biblia Academy trains magic users known as magus and assigns missions. Arata asks if being a magus can save Hijiri, and Biblia hints that magic has infinite possibilities. He then tells him about Trinity 7 magus hotties, and ironically suggests Arata make them his pawns, revealing Lilith is one of them. Back on their way, Arata spots a sword-wielding dipshit hanging from the ceiling like a bat with cerebral palsy. She introduces herself as Levi Kazama, a ninja, mage, and member of the Trinity 7. Levi mentions sexy ninja arts and the arts of the bedroom, and Arata, being a degenerate, easily falls for it. Levi starts calling Arata his pookie, but Lilith is done with their bullshit and punishes both of them. Later that night, Arata heads to the boys' bathhouse and finds another cutie who looks a lot like Hijiri. He gets scared and runs out of the room, crashing into Lilith. He immediately explains the situation, and she quickly realizes that the girl must be Erin Kanazuki, who is another member of the Trinity 7, and scolds her. Arata, lost in his thoughts, suspects Erin might be connected to Hijiri and figures the Trinity 7 will be important to him. Lilith snaps him back to reality, reminding him he's standing in the hallway without pants, looking like an idiot. During Lilith's class, Arin creepily gazes at Arata, making even this degenerate uncomfortable, forcing him to call Lilith for help, who was just as confused by Arin. This continues throughout the day as she keeps following him through the cafeteria, into the halls, and even tries to enter the men's bathroom by identifying as a man, but Arata finally puts a stop to this as he doesn't want her to see his Microsoft dom. He quickly rushes back to his room but gets shocked to find Lilith, Selena, and Leelai already inside. The bitches admit that they're there to gather more information about him, while Lilith claims that she's supervising. After Selena interviews him, Arata requests magic lessons in return, and Lilith agrees eagerly. Arata then asks about his grimoire, which Lilith reveals to be the legendary astral manuscript holding knowledge from another world. She explains the concept of a thema, a magical research subject tied to the 7 deadly sins. Suddenly, the room is plunged into darkness, and they realize that they are trapped inside of a barrier. As they light the room with the astral manuscript, Arata the bone-headed moron attempts to break the door with a chair. The girls wonder whether this dipshit knows that they can use magic, but they know that this is a test for Arata and let him deal with it. Outside the trap, Arin and a mysterious person were observing all this mess. Inside the room, even after trying so many times, they cannot find any clue. The situation worsens when the whole second-rate harem urgently needs to use the bathroom at the same time, creating more panic. Arata tries to ask Grimoire for help, but she's half asleep. To turn the tables, they come up with a plan. They decide to deceive Grimoire by pretending that they have found the clue. Fooled by their Oscar-worthy performance, the Grimoire reveals the clue that was hidden under the bed. After destroying it, the barrier disappears and the girls sprint to the bathroom. The astral manuscript is impressed by this little twerp's cleverness and grows curious about the thema he will choose in the future. After coming out of the room, Arata is confused about the concept of thema when Arin appears and explains that it is a mage's lifelong research. Arata accuses her of trapping them, and she casually admits it like a total Chad. Arata asks why she sealed his room, on which Arin reveals that it was the headmaster's idea to stress test the Demon Lord candidate. Before they could discuss it further, Master Biblia jumps through the window like a discount Spider-Man but crashes straight into the wall like a total retard. Arata and Arin ignore him like background characters from a horror movie and decide to continue their conversation elsewhere. Later in the infirmary, Arata and Lilith press Arin for more answers, where she explains that the headmaster wanted to provoke a breakdown phenomenon by putting him under stress. This pisses Arata off and he starts planning to punish the headmaster, but Lilith coldly informs him that she has already dealt with the situation by trapping and torturing that cunt of a headmaster inside a burning furnace. Lilith is curious about the breakdown phenomenon and asks Arin for an explanation. In response, Arin transforms into her high magic mode using her grimoire. She removes the seals on Arata's magic, which causes it to destabilize. The breakdown phenomenon begins, and Arata starts to transform into demon form with wings sprouting from his back. Despite the dangerous transformation, Arin remains focused on her experiment, unaware of how powerful the magic is about to become. The whole school starts to crumble as the breakdown phenomenon spreads, affecting the students caught in the chaos. Meanwhile, Selena meets Leelai, who explains that the breakdown phenomenon is the source of the destruction. Outside the academy, Master Biblia watches Arin's actions like a retarded psychopath, but since he is a broke bitch like me, he cannot afford the school to be destroyed. Arata's magic grows more uncontrollable, and Lilith finally decides to intervene. However, Arin acts like a big-shot researcher and refuses to let her intervene, completely ignoring the consequences of this disaster. But suddenly, those other 2 members of Trinity 7, Akio and Mira, appear after completing their mission. Mira soon overpowers Arata completely and uses her magic from her magical book and neutralizes the breakdown phenomenon. She paralyzes both Arin and Lilith, which gives Akio the chance to eliminate Arata. She apologizes for what she was going to do and kicks the shit out of this weakest joke for a future demon lord. Her kick causes a big explosion. Arata's magic, but to their surprise, the breakdown phenomenon keeps progressing as they realize that Arata is still alive. Meanwhile, Arata himself wakes up in a different world where he quickly discovers a door and steps in only to find a girl playing violin. She introduces herself as Yu and explains that she transported him into her world just before Akio nearly ended his game. They watch that the chaos is still going on in the real world, and Yu reveals that the cause of the breakdown phenomenon is Arata himself. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Levi and Selena watch the students disintegrate before them but cannot do anything to save them. Levi points out that the weaker ones with low magic are vanishing first. Selena comments on how calm Levi is appearing, but soon she realizes that Yuna Ninja is pissing her pants. In the infirmary, the girls set up a barrier to protect themselves, realizing that the situation is worsening with every second. Arata boldly declares to Yu that he will return and stop the breakdown phenomenon, but Yu doesn't think so. At that moment, the pea-brained idiot realizes that he doesn't know know how to stop it but feels responsible for the chaos and refuses to let more people disappear. Yu explains to him that he can control the phenomenon by discovering his thema from the 7 magical books of the 7 sins. Arata processes this information in his low-8 brain and remembers Mira's magical powers. He bids her a lovey-dovey farewell as she sends him back to the real world. Back at the academy, the barrier protecting the girls begins to weaken and is on the verge of collapse when suddenly Arata reappears like an annoying ad in my YouTube video. He calls the Trinity 7 weakest bitches and that he will control the breakdown phenomenon himself. Mira, the only smart one in the harem, insists on eliminating this disaster-causing dipshit, but Akio convinces her otherwise. Akio gives Arata a chance but warns him that she'll deactivate his life account permanently if he fails. Arata agrees and activates the rule power from his magical book, which destroys the breakdown phenomenon by sucking up all the magic around him. But, as expected from this scumbag, he also mistakenly absorbs Lilith, Erin, and Akio's clothes along with the magic. The girls freeze in shock, but Mira reflects his magic like a total Giga Chad and stays unaffected. Arata's clothes don't survive either, and the whole bitch gang now knows that Arata's brain is not the only thing that is small. The academy ends up completely trash, and everyone gets sent on vacation to the beach. At the beach, the girls relax while Arata works as the chef and keep whining about his punishment. Lilith smugly reminds him that it is his reward for helping Erin destroy the academy. When he questions why a punishment involves a beach trip, she explains it was the headmaster's idea to use the downtime while he magically repairs the school. Arata questions about the headmaster's abilities until Selena and Levi reveal the fact that the so-called loafer is actually one of the world's top 5 mages. Meanwhile, the girls flaunt their swimsuits and Arata's lusty eyes quickly catch on. He compliments their looks and Lilith's busty wonders. Just then, Sora grabs Lilith's assets and yaps about their softness and elasticity. Lilith gets furious and pulls out her long dong gun, which blasts the idiots into next week, while the rest of the gang scatters like scared cats. Later at night, Selena and Levi hear some very suspicious noises coming from Lilith's room. Their imaginations go wild and they are about to picture it in 4K, but Lilith storms out and terrorizes them to death. The waifu battalion then assembles and decides to go for a mixed bath. On their way, Arata asks about the 7th member of the Trinity 7 and Selena explains that the final member disappeared before Arata joined the academy. Later at the bath, Arata's excitement crashes like my Bitcoin when he sees the girls wearing swimsuits. Mira and Akio leave the bath as soon as they sense his usual pervy thoughts and remaining members ask him to control his magic. Arata asks Lilith to borrow her gun, but she refuses and explains that it's made using her magic. He wonders if he can use her magic, and she tells him that their thema and magical books are different. Still, the group theorizes that Arata might be able to copy other magic since he's a shithead yet future demon lord. After some pointless banter, Lilith finally gives in when Arata begs like usual for her help to rescue Ejiri. She demonstrates her alchemic magic, and Arata asks his grimoire to do the same. To his surprise, Grimoire successfully creates a gun, which makes the girls go wild as if it's their first night. It turns out Arata can copy other mages' magic, which surprises everyone. As the academy continues to get repaired, Arata and Lilith head to their classroom, while Arata proudly declares himself the great protagonist, like he's a star of some harem anime. Lilith gets frustrated by this copycat and tells him that he needs to research it further. As they enter the classroom, they're shocked to find all the students have fallen asleep. Arata tries to wake up Selena but fails. He jokes about students boycotting Lilith's class, while Levi shows up and says something else must be causing it. In the headmaster's office, Master Biblia explains the breakdown phenomenon causes the students to fall asleep due to weak magic. Behaving like professional shitasses in disguise, the headmaster and Arata plan to mess with the sleeping chicks, but Lilith smacks their butts. Mira and Akio go off to handle the cause by themselves, while the others learn that powerful magic is leaking beneath the academy and Yui is the source of it. Master Biblia reveals that Yui has lost control of her magic in the dungeon below. Later, inside a bizarre labyrinth, Arata and the girls travel through the complex area, which appears strange due to Yu's awakening. Girls told Arata that Yu is a mage who is sealed within the labyrinth because of her powerful magic, which places her just below the headmaster in terms of strength. Her magic is so strong that it could put the whole world to sleep, but now she has lost control of it after being affected by Arata's demon lord magic. Levi suggests the group transform into high mage mode, and they decide to move forward before Mira and Akio show up and erase Yui. Later, the group encounters a natty group of fatty monsters. Arata tries to create a gun by using his copycat magic, but forgets the process and messes up like a dipshit. Erin quickly creates a barrier just in time, and Arata successfully summons a toy gun after busting his ass trying over and over. He tries to shoot the shadows, but misses like a total joke. He smashed the gun in frustration on the ground like a third-rate worm, which backfires and rips off the girl's clothes, revealing their masterpieces amidst the battle. The demons move closer to them, but Levi jumps in like a Power Ranger and quickly eliminates all the monsters. The group starts chattering again and discusses Levi's strength as one of the world's top mages and her connection to Yu. As they move through a dark section, Arata and Lilith suddenly feel something touching their ding-dongs. Erin uses a light spell and reveals the culprits to be small pervert shadow demons which disintegrate when exposed to the light. Arata asks Grimoire to copy the magic like a copy bastard, but Grimoire tells him that some conditions aren't met yet. The Trinity 7 keep fighting their way through the demonic shadows, and the girls explain to Arata how grimoires and spells work since his magic is needed to save Yui. The group finally reaches the last level only to unexpectedly run into Mira and Akio, who bulldoze their way through by smashing every wall in their straight path like a demolition derby. They start heading straight for Yu, but Arata tries to convince them not to erase her. Mira threatens to erase him instead, but Levi steps in to fight and stall them, which gives Arata and the others a chance to reach Yu first. Just as Akio and Levi prepare for their fight, Arata accidentally gets caught in the crossfire of their powers, and this retard ends up falling right into Mira's path, which gives him a front row VIP view to her bunny panties. He blinks like a stunned idiot, and Mira turns bright red, glaring at him like she's about to turn him into a punching bag for being such a massive pain in the ass. The trio arrives at Yu's room and finds thick, malicious vapors pouring out from the dragon guarding her. Arata, being his usual horndog self, notices that Yu's assets look different and comments on it. Erin flatly explains that he must have seen Yu's ideal form in the dream world, when suddenly the dragon wakes up and Arata collapses on the ground with his body slowly sprouting wings as his magic resonates with the creature, transforming him into a demon. The dragon starts attacking, but Lilith pulls out her gun and fires, which forces the dragon to pause briefly. In the chaos, Mira and Akio unexpectedly arrive, and the group worries about Libby's safety. But she suddenly appears behind Lilith, teasing her about her thick curves. Levi reveals that she has made a truce with the Grimoire security gals to deal with the phantasmal dragon first. The Trinity 7 battle the dragon, holding it off while Levi works with Arata to stabilize his magic. She explains her link to Yui and the concept of the thema and magic needed for his copy ability. Afterward, Levi jumps into the fight as Lilith steps in to teach Arata how to control his power. Both Lilith and his grimoire warn him that using alchemic magic could turn him into something nastier and stronger than the dragon, but Arata decides to take the risk. Levi gives him some seductive advice on summoning the gun and seals the deal with a lip service on his finger for luck, infusing it with her mana. Using plot armor, Arata successfully summons the ultimate boss-level gun and bangs the lousy dragon with his own shot. After the fight, a clothless Yu wakes up and finds the whole group. She ignores everybody like a lousy NPC and throws herself onto Arata, hugging him tightly. Lilith looks annoyed by this fan service while Levi watches Arata in action and begins to wonder about his potential after he kills a dragon in one shot, getting curious about what lies ahead for him. The next day, Arata wakes up to find two cute lowly Yui and Erin asleep in his bed. This dirtbag is still deciding whether to panic or celebrate, but loyal Lilith barges in to wake him up. She freezes in shock, but Arata, with his usual lack of survival instincts, casually asks if she'd like to join them, earning himself an ass-whooping of the century. During gym class, Arata shamelessly checks out the girls in their gym uniforms, especially Yui and Erin, who cling to him like this manho is their personal hero. Even Lilith can't escape his wild gaze, and he blurts out some dumb comment about her bouncing melons while running. Just as he's about to take his creepiness up a notch, Mira and Akio show up as they get ready to get rid of this impure piece of trash. She then casually talks to Yu, but also warns her that Grimoire security is still watching them closely. Selena adds fuel to the fire, announcing that the Trinity 7 is fighting over Arata. Lilith immediately shoots that down, but Levi pops in and challenges Akio to a battle that was due from the dungeon, and before Lilith can even process the chaos, both Levi and Akio cast their spells, putting on a flashy show. Soon enough, Erin jumps into flex in front of her future dipshit husband and joins the show. Yu also activates her Magus mode and prepares for a fight. Selena squeals like a K-pop fangirl as Yu shows off her symphony magic and casts a spell over everyone, inviting them to her dream world. Out of nowhere, Arata finds himself back in Yu's dream world, where she greets him like they're best friends, but Arata, ever the playboy, compliments her figure. Meanwhile, the other girls are knocked out cold in the real world, leaving Mira as the only one still awake, reflecting Yu's magic. Yu tries to sneak a kiss, but Arata, in full friend-zone mode, suggests they get to know each other better. Yu looks disappointed but agrees, and they proceed to talk about the real world. As they're about to leave, she plants a quick kiss on his cheek, thanking him for saving her. Back in the real world, Yui and Arata are passed out on the same bed, while the other girls watch them like hawks. They note that he's already met 6 of the Trinity 7, but the last one is still missing. Selena optimistically says Arata will manage since he saved Yui. Later that night, Mira, deep in thought while showering, gets a jump scare from Akio, acting like a total lowly hunter. They end up relaxing in the bath and talk about the recent breakdown phenomenon and Arata being the Demon Lord candidate. Despite their worries, the Grimoire security duo decides they'll eliminate any threats no matter what. The next day during a storm, a blonde babe who looks like Selena casually walks through the halls, shattering windows like it's her hobby. The next morning, students gather around the crime scene where Lilith explains that someone broke into the academy. Grimoire security wastes no time and points fingers at Arata and Yu. They claim that traces of a breakdown phenomenon similar to theirs are found. Yu denies it, saying her magic would have knocked everyone out cold. Mira figures out neither Arata nor Yu caused the incident but recognizes the magic as similar to one used in the library. Arata and Yu look to Erin for answers, but Levi chimes in with a creepy ghost story that scares the crap out of everyone. She recalls how twin sisters once studied in the library during a storm. The elder sister disappeared after a magical mishap, and now her ghost sometimes shows up on rainy days. Yu looks ready to run out, but Arata, the genius mage, declares they should investigate. The group heads to the library and meets Mira and Lilith. Arata insists on being involved since a breakdown phenomenon might occur. Initially, Mira says no, but when he insists too much, she agrees with some conditions. Arata spots Selena over there and approaches her. But before they could talk any further, the atmosphere suddenly shifts and the group teleports. Later, they find themselves in the Eternal Library where Arata is immediately ambushed by dark magic. He barely dodges the attack thanks to Selena pushing him aside, but she gets caught in the attack instead. The attacker reveals herself to be a girl who looks exactly like Selena. The others recognize her as Liselot, who is Selena's twin sister. She greets them casually and sneaks behind Mira and Lilith, trying to steal their magic, but Levi and Akio jump in to stop her. The girls explain that Liselot was once second in command of Grimoire security and a member of the Trinity 7. She went hidden after messing around with forbidden experiments in the Eternal Library and is now an evil mage. Mira demands answers, but Liselot just ignores her and claims that it was all for her research. Liselot tries to snatch Arata's magic again, but Selena counters her moves, claiming that she can predict her sister's actions. Liselot gets delighted by the challenge and shifts gears, showing everybody who is the daddy. The others prepare for battle like dimwit, but Liselot quickly sneaks behind Selena and sucks out her magic from her body. Acting like a total ass, Liselot proudly flexes off her new magic and shocks everyone when she reveals that she is now a Demon Lord candidate. Arata, meanwhile, grows concerned for Selena, who looks weakened after Liselot gives her a love bite and leaves a Demon Lord seal on her neck. Liselot defends herself and claims that every mage dreams of becoming the Demon Lord, but Lilith insists that she should work hard for it. Liselot shrugs off idiotically and says that she would rather skip the effort, just like Arata. Arata admits he likes shortcuts, but he draws the line at stealing magic from friends and decides to fight her. His grimoire warns him that Liselot is stronger, but he plays the gentleman card and activates his Magus mode. Liselot, however, is one step ahead and already studied Arata's magic using Selena's stolen powers. She even offers Arata a tempting deal to join her and rescue Hijiri. Arata is caught off guard and gets shocked to learn that she knows about his cousin. But before he can respond, she closes the gap, luring him and smooches him directly. The kiss weakens Arata, and Liselot gets a bit too excited in heat. She steals his magic and reveals it by combining them with her newfound power. To test it out, she casts anti-magic on the Trinity 7, which strips off their clothes and leaves out most of the girls flashing their goodies, except Mira and Levi, who deflect the magic like nothing. Levi tries to fight back while Mira studies Liselot's magic, but their attacks don't seem to have much effect. Levi is determined to show off her ninja skills and escapes from Liselot's traps, which keeps her distracted long enough for Mira to launch a powerful attack, which ends up doing nothing. The other members watch the fight and think that Arata will probably be fine because of Grimoire's protection, but Selena is in real danger. Even though Liselot is way stronger than Arata, he refuses to give up and stands like a real harem master. He turns down her offer and chooses to protect his gang over Hijiri. Liselot's magic becomes more unstable, and Mira realizes that she hasn't fully mastered it yet. Levi shows everyone that she's more than just a ninja and destroys her wings, successfully avoiding Liselot's teleportation. Liselot gets angry but realizes she's at a disadvantage and decides to retreat, but promises like a true villain that she will come back stronger. Back in the library, the group gathers with a tense mood. Mira says that Grimoire security will train Arata before Liselot returns, which freaks him out as he never foresaw this development coming. Outside the academy, Mira and Akio start Arata's training and focus on teaching him how to copy Akio's mantra magic directly with a fight between them. Arata struggles to keep up while Akio wastes no time and starts with a punch, directly hitting this bag. Meanwhile, in the infirmary, Lilith visits Selena, who is recovering with Yu's help. The girls talk about Arata's training and wonder if he'll be ready in time. Just then, an injured Levi bursts in, warning them that time is running out. Back in training, Arata takes a good beating until Akio's strike sends him flying straight into Mira. He again accidentally lands above her jiggles and gropes them, complementing their perfect size. Mira reacts with her usual fury and delivers a divine punishment to this while Akio cheers him on for dodging her attack. She tells him more about her magic, and they encourage him to unlock his own magic and resume training. In the infirmary, Levi points out that a mage's thema reflects the opposite of their personality. So Lieselot lists Stagna as her thema is unlikely to sit idle. Talking about the devil, the windows shatter and signal her return. Shadow creatures attack the academy, and instead of fighting back, the students panic like headless chickens. Two unlucky girls end up as the creature's first victims, losing both their magic and their clothes in the process. Just when all hope seems lost, the headmaster shows up like the ultimate flexor of the magic world. He flexes his OP powers and easily defeats the shitty shadows without any effort. Lieselot steps in, smugly declaring that she will take him down. She commands the demons to attack, but the headmaster barely gives a shit and wipes them out with a single move. To add insult to injury, he sneaks up behind Lieselot and gives her an unexpected romantic hug, all while delivering a lecture about her being weak. Annoyed, Lieselot uses her powerful magic to bind him, but the headmaster casually breaks free with just a spoken spell, leaving her stunned. She tries to keep her composure and admires his strength, but her confidence fades when a huge demonic gate appears behind him, glowing with dark energy and signaling something much worse is coming. Lieselot stares in shock as Master Biblia unveils his grimoire, Solomon's Gate. He explains that only those with enough magic can see it and warns that staring at it too long can make people lose their minds. Despite the flashy drama, Lieselot pulls out her MasterCard and distracts the stud headmaster. She strips and flashes her round buddies, catching the headmaster off guard. Like an idiotic treasure hunter, he runs toward her but gets punched and knocked out of the window like a trashy flirt. Upon waking up outside, the headmaster reflects on Lieselot's growth but mutters to himself about how mages with too much power often meet their downfall. Meanwhile, Arata trains with Grimoire's security, struggling to master Akio's magic. The Grimoire surprises everyone by casually announcing that it has already completed the process for him. To speed things up, the Grimoire transforms into her human form, Sora, and takes charge of Arata's lessons. In the infirmary, the Trinity Seven chat about the headmaster's defeat. Their talk gets cut short when Lieselot walks in like she owns the place. Levi tries to trap her, but Lieselot escapes easily and goes to her weak sister, Selena. The sisters have a sad moment before Selena challenges Lieselot, saying she'll come back to Trinity 7 if Arata beats her. Lieselot admits she can't keep that promise and gets ready to steal their magic. Before she can pull off her sinister plan, a dragon bursts into the scene and chomps down on her. Arata arrives in full Magus mode, commanding the dragon like a boss with some help from Sora. Sora shows off her mantra enchant magic to Arata, explaining that it's all about willpower. Akio demonstrates the spell and gives it to Arata, and Arata experiences a strange vision of a young Akio in a nun outfit praying in a destroyed place. Confused but determined, Arata surprises everyone by declaring he can perform mantra enchant. When he tries the spell on Lise, it hilariously backfires and makes her blouse fall off instead, which reveals her assets to Arata. Lieselot and Lilith scold him. The group teases that Levi is the only one Arata hasn't accidentally stripped. Lieselot quickly regains her magic and dodges Arata's attempts to claim her demon lord element. She even casts a spell that stops time for everyone except herself, Arata, and Sora. Confident in her victory, Lise kisses Arata very passionately like some seductive slut to steal his magic again. However, she freaks out when she realizes he hid a mantra enchant seal on his tongue. Sora congratulates Arata on his UNO reverse and asks about his strong willpower. He reveals it came from the vision of Akio praying, which inspired him. The seal transfers to Lise and she breaks free of demonic powers. Afterward, Arata hugs Lise as if he will take all the wild joy with this girl and urges her to come back with him. Sadly, she can't leave the static world because of her last spell. Even though she doesn't regret her choice, Arata refuses to accept it and promises to free her. Suddenly, he's back in the real world, awkwardly groping Lilith's assets like it's just another day. Lilith gets embarrassed and angry and punishes this retard without hesitation. The group feels down about Lisa's fate, but Mira steps up and orders Selena to help Arata master Logo's magic to save her sister. Selena and Arata get inspired by this thunder and agree to work together to fix things. Meanwhile, Master Biblia watches their progress but gets worrying news from his assistant that another school in the west has been destroyed by the group of evil mages called Iscariot. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure resembling Hajiri walks through the ruins of a town. In the library, Arata asks Selena about a formula while Lilith quietly watches nearby. Later, he corners Levi in a classroom to ask for advice on focusing his mind, and Lilith continues her sneaky surveillance. In the hallway, Erin gives a detailed explanation about one of her magic, and shortly after, Arata discusses magic recovery plans with Yua in another room as Lilith eavesdrops like a rejected slut from outside. After everything, Lilith confronts Arata about his cocky behavior and accuses him of acting so strangely that he might have been replaced by a doppelganger. Her words annoy and amuse him at the same time and tell her that he will master Lieselot's Logos Art magic to save Lise, no matter what the challenges are. Sora steps in between conversation and mentions that he has already completed 2 of the 3 necessary steps. Lilith shows her concerns and warns that he might lose control and become a pathetic shadow as he is just an idiot. Arata dismisses her worries and vows that he will not let anyone else suffer, especially since getting stronger brings him closer to finding Hijiri. Their conversation is cut short when they receive a summons to the headmaster's office. On the way, Arata's infamous lucky pervert mode activates and he bumps into Mira, ending up face-to-face near her pink panties. Like a shameless trashy pig, he asks why she isn't wearing her bunny pants, which flusters her and prompts him to mop the floor with him. When they arrive at the office, Master Biblia delivers major news that he appoints Arata as the assistant chief of Grimoire security and assigns Lilith to supervise him. Mira protests and argues that the decision to make this dipshit the second-in-command of security is reckless, but the headmaster stands firm. He reveals shocking news that the Royal Liber Magic Academy, which is one of the top 3 academies, was destroyed the previous night by evil mages. Stressing the urgency, he explains that their next mission involves investigating the academy and insists on Arata's potential as second-in-command. The girls are ordered to prepare him for the mission, leaving Arata smug and the others caught between disbelief and reluctant acceptance. Back in Arata's room, Sora teases Lilith and states that she's appointed as private tutor to this blockhead and will give him hot private lessons. Suddenly, Levi, Selena, Arin, and Yu barge in using different naughty styles and cling to their personal playboy. Despite the chaos, Lilith continues the discussion and teaches him about the mastery of Trinity 7 over magic and the group's magical books. She states that Levi is envy and Yui represents greed, while Arin depicts the wrath and Selena's sister Lise is sloth. She further continues that the big babe Akio has gluttony and Mira has pride, which is the same as Arata's magical book. Arata asks Lilith about her archive, but she hesitates and dodges the question by stating that Arata already knows how to use her alchemy magic and doesn't need to know further. But Arata, like a horn dog, catches her closely, which makes her scared of this little distance. After much teasing, she finally admits that her archive is lust and turns bright red. Arata starts coughing blood out of excitement, thinking that she will really give him private steamy tuition this time, but her murderous glare shrinks his little Tom faster than a cold shower. Everyone has a good laugh at her expense, and Arata notes how their books reflect their opposite personality. Eventually, the tutoring session begins and stretches late into the night. After a late night, Lilith falls asleep in a chair. Arata and Sora rest on his bed, and Sora starts flirting with Arata. However, as a legendary pervert, Arata outsmarts her with his own teasing. Suddenly, Akio and Mira barge in and find the two in a compromising position, which causes Mira to feel embarrassed. Despite Mira's awkwardness about being in Arata's room, the conversation shifts to their mission. Akio explains that Liber Academy was destroyed during Liselot's attack, and Sora confirms the phenomenon is a magic blast, similar to Hijiri's disappearance. Their goal is to investigate and eliminate the source of the breakdown phenomenon. Before leaving, the group teases Mira about her cute sleeping attire. Akio tells Arata that Mira even left her cute bunny pants behind because of him. Sora adds to the teasing, pointing out that Mira is showing off assets in this dress, which implies that she's in the room for something lewd. The situation reaches its peak when a cockroach appears, sending Mira into a full-blown panic. In her frenzy, she falls onto Arata in a compromising, seductive position. The commotion wakes Lilith, who misinterprets the scene and responds by firing her rocket launcher at the shithead demon lord. The next day, Lilith and Arata wrap up their lessons. Later, Arata finds himself relaxing in a hot spring with some of the girls, including Yua, who missed the last because she was out on a mission. Lilith joins him in the bath but takes him with her to a spot with a stunning sunset view over the town, hoping it will help him recharge their magic and mood. Arata, however, plays the gentleman who embarrassingly admits the sight of her in the setting is reward enough for him. They splash water all around in a lovey-dovey playful manner, but Sora's mischief strikes, and she throws a leaf, causing the Lilith's bikini top to slip off and reveals her big assets once again to this lucky dipshit. Furious, Lilith retaliates against Arata with her bazooka, nearly making him divinely depart to the other side. The following morning, like a worn-out beaten shit, Arata joins the group in the headmaster's office as they prepare for teleportation to Liber Academy. During the process, they sense an interference with their magic and the teleporting machine malfunctions. They continue the process despite the risks, trusting the headmaster's abilities, and a bright light engulfs them. When Arata regains consciousness, he finds himself with Sora and an unconscious Mira near strange buildings. Sora comments that the magic in the area feels similar to her world creation magic. Mira wakes up, recognizing the location as Liber Academy, even though it was supposed to be destroyed. As they process this, they are greeted by someone who resembles Hijiri. Arata is overjoyed to see her, but Mira quickly deduces that the figure is an imposter and attacks. The fake Hijiri praises her for recognizing her quickly and easily defends herself. Arata tries to intervene, but Sora assures him that Mira's judgment is correct. They attack the imposter, but she retreats, leaving her identity a mystery, which only strengthens Arata's determination to find her. After the fake Hijiri vanishes, Sora turns to Arata and tells him that the imposter isn't his real cousin, but another grimoire that copied Hijiri's memories and appearance to look after him while the real Hijiri is away. Arata tries to wrap his blocked head around this situation, but Mira wastes no time and states like a Chad that she will investigate the situation herself so that Arata can focus on searching for her girlfriend Hijiri. Sora grabs the opportunity of fun and says that Mira's determination sounds more like jealousy to Arata's girlfriend. Mira immediately shoots back with red face, denying it with all her might, but the blushing bitch's expressions are saying otherwise. The trio wanders through the abandoned academy like ghosts, and Arata wonders if this world has been reconstructed. Sora shakes her head on his dumbness and explains to him that this place is not newly made, instead it is sealed within a barrier in an alternate dimension. Before they can explore further, a group of shitty mud demons suddenly appears, blocking their path. Mira jumps into action and summons her magic mode with full confidence, but things don't go as planned. Instead of obliterating the demons, her spell hilariously tears her clothes apart, leaving her shaken like a bitch caught in bed. Arata quickly shrugs off his jacket like a discount hero from Saturday's sale and hands it to Mira and tries his best not to laugh while she glares at him. Sora examines the situation and deduces that their magical combat state is disabled within the barrier. Since Sora is pure magic, she is unaffected by the barrier and stays behind to deal with the demons. Meanwhile, Arata ran away with a half-dressed Mira in his arms and fighting every dumb instinct not to sneak a peek downward like a total idiot. The two find temporary refuge in an empty classroom. Mira borrows Arata's shirt to cover up and tries to regain her composure. They discuss their situation and Mira concludes that the only way to escape is to destroy the barrier's core. Since the core is likely to be either in the center or along the edges of the academy, Arata decides to investigate the center. However, Mira isn't about to let this disaster-causing dipshit wander around on his own and points out that he doesn't know the layout of the academy. Meanwhile, Sora continues her battle and effortlessly dispatches the shadowy enemies like trash. She soon realizes that these shadows are actually the remnants of the academy's former students, but before she can act further, fake Hijiri steps forward and dismisses the shadows as mere puppets. Sora deflects all attacks of imposter easily, but the imposter springs a trap and traps her in a powerful spell box. With Sora neutralized, Hijiri smugly decides it's time to deal with Arata and declares that he won't escape her grasp. Arata and Mira eventually reach the academy's clock tower and suspect that it may be the barrier's core. Mira is still self-conscious about her bottomless outfit and hesitates to climb the tower first. Without missing an opportunity to be a degenerated simp, Arata offers her to carry on his back so that she can check for traps on the way up, and she agrees. Near the top of the tower, Arata casually asks Mira why she joined Grimoire Security, and Mira, in an almost formal tone, explains that her high magical capabilities and her thema naturally led her to enlist. Arata, the horrible molester, hisses that her thema must mean she was a delinquent since a mage's thema usually reflects the opposite of their personality. Mira glares sharply at the but soon ignores him and drifts into thoughts with her mind wandering to memories of her past. In her thoughts, Mira recalls moments that she has never shared with anyone. Fear of losing control over her powerful magic once kept her isolated as she was worried of forming close relationships. It wasn't until Aikyo, when the Trinity 7 approached her for help with research, that Mira began to open up with her. Aikyo's soft nature and genuine acceptance of Mira as more than just a danger with overwhelming magic made her feel human for the first time in a long while. But one day, she was performing a magical experiment that went disastrously wrong, leaving Mira unconscious in the aftermath. Aikyo had found her, carried her to safety, and offered comforting words to her, and assured her that her magic wasn't something to fear. That moment sparked a change in Mira, instilling a sense of pride in her abilities and deep admiration for Aikyo. Back to the present, Mira realizes that she has unintentionally revealed her backstory to this moron. Her cheeks flush red as she tries to dismiss it, but Arata shines with satisfaction and looks pleased to have learned more about her. The mood lightens as they reach the roof of the clock tower. At the top, they find Sora trapped in a magical box. Hijiri appears in front of them in full confidence and explains her plan that she and real Hijiri will end all the falsehood from this world. She says Mira must be eliminated and that Arata will stay trapped in the barrier with her until her mission to destroy the world is finished. Dark shadows rise around Mira and Arata once again, which make their escape seem impossible. As Mira struggles against the shadows, Sora secretly communicates with Arata via telepathy, telling him to buy her time to break the barrier. Arata quickly offers himself in exchange for Mira's freedom. Hijiri chooses to play an ultimate prank and agrees, but reveals their Einstein-level scheme by ordering the shadows to attack Mira instead. She tells him that she knew about his telepathic communication with Sora and tells him not to underestimate him as she knows all about him. She also makes it clear that Mira's end is certain and there's no way out. When Arata tries to help, Hijiri stops him with her magic and binds him with spicy spell spankers. She begins draining Sora's energy out of the trap box to make herself stronger and laughs like a cheap Chinese tyrant of terror. Helpless, Arata watches his friends in pain and delivers an emotional, eye-teary friendship speech powerful enough to flood the pants. Then suddenly, something inside him snaps and a dark, powerful energy starts building up, growing stronger by the second. Hijiri mocks his anger, saying it's useless, but Sora warns her to stop before it's too late. Hijiri ignores the warning and keeps talking like a cheesy movie villain who just got smacked around by the hero after acting way too cocky, like a wannabe bad guy in a discount movie. The dark energy rises by blasting out an aura of 10,000 plus like an unstoppable force in Arata's demon lord form. Astral Trinity awakens, sending a cold, spine-chilling energy through the air. For the first time, Hijiri's confidence wavers, her face filled with an "oh shit" look. As Astral Trinity emerges, his immense power shakes the area, and he easily destroys the magic of the Ilias fragment. This reveals her true form and frees Sora from her magical prison, causing her to drop to the ground with a relieved sigh. But Astral isn't done yet and unleashes a breakdown phenomenon, tearing apart the surroundings like a toddler wrecking their toys. Mira and Sora exchange worried glances, and they realize that this isn't their Pookie Arata anymore. Instead, it is the raw, uncontrollable rage of a demon lord. They charge at him like Powerpuff Girls from Sunday Morning who are determined to stop him, but their attacks are useless. Astral's magic shuts them down effortlessly, and he throws them aside like rag dolls. Astral, however, seems hooked by Mira. He senses her overwhelming magic power and demands her loyalty, acting like a 5-star gacha pull. Everyone gets shocked when he leans in for a kiss, which makes Mira blush like a human tomato. Before he can go any further, Mira slaps him so hard that even the bug in his software feels it. Her boldness catches Astral off guard, weakening his presence for a moment. Steamy opening, Sora quickly casts a spell to seal Astral and bring our shitty Romeo back. After a tense struggle with a flash of light, Astral disappears and Arata collapses, back to his normal weakest form. However, their problems aren't over yet as they are still stuck in the barrier. Ilia Fragment in her weakened form admits that she no longer has control of the reality they're trapped in. Arata, the Hope Avenger, suggests a IQ 9000 strategy and asks Ilia to join him in the real world instead of fighting them. He goes back to being the chief of the Simp Squad and thanks her for looking out for him, even though she was just the fake Hijiri for 3 days after the breakdown phenomena. Before anyone can respond, Astral's remaining attack goes into full chaos mode and the world starts falling apart like a cheap tent in a windstorm. The Ilias Fragment agrees to the deal and gives her remaining magic to Arata, acting like she's about to die like Iron Man. The remaining Avengers combine their magic to fight the disaster, and with their final burst of energy, they break through and return to the original reality. Once they're back, they reunite with Lilith and Akio, and Arata falls onto Lilith's comfy pillows to recharge his battery. Lilith and Akio carry worn-out Arata and Mira on their back to a secure place and guard them while they rest. Meanwhile, mysterious, shadowy figures observe them from a distance, and a girl resembling Hijiri calmly tells her companions that she and Arata are now enemies. Later in a room, the group discusses Arata's transformation into the Astral Trinity and the disaster in the alternate world. Akio bluntly suggests that they should get rid of this chaos factory to keep everyone safe, but the other two say no. Akio admits that she herself is also quite fond of him in her own way and asks Lilith to report it to the headmaster. They then discuss the culprit behind destroying the academy and suspect the real Hijiri behind the destruction. The conversation shifts to her, as they know she's a powerful mage with the ability to contact legendary grimoires. They suspect that her deep connection to Arata, who is a potential demon lord candidate, might have some hidden motives, and no one is sure what her true intentions are. Arata is sleeping peacefully when Hijiri approaches him with a mix of relief and sadness on her face. Their Cry Fest 2.0 reunion is going smoothly with all sorts of emotional lovebird crap, but Hijiri quickly cuts out the fluff and directly comes to the plot like a Sigma and reminds him that she is now his enemy. Before Arata can respond, she attacks him, but Arata is already ready for it. Just as they are about to clash, Lilith jumps in to protect him. In the chaos, Arata ends up falling, landing face first in a first-class HD view of Lilith's panties. Hijiri effortlessly fends off Lilith's counterattack like it's child's play. With a smirk on her face, she activates a spell so intense that Lilith realizes the horrifying truth that Hijiri isn't just a normal mage. She wields the magic element of a demon lord and is far more powerful than them. Hijiri confirms this fact with a smile and transforms into her demon form, Satan. Her power skyrockets, and she fully flexes the power of the Ira magical book as she has mastered all 3 themas, which proves her to be called a real trinity. She unleashes a devastating spell aimed at Arata, and Lilith knows there is no way out. So she shields Arata with her body, and her big twin bouncers guard his NASA-certified beautiful face. While casting this spell, Hijiri tells Arata that she will take his grimoire and magic, and that maybe one day she will be able to recreate him. Just when all hope seems lost, Erin appears. She claims that she was summoned by Arata and wields the demon's spear, which can neutralize Hijiri's magic. Akio and Mira also arrive in their classic style by smashing through the walls, which forces Hijiri to retreat. But before leaving, she warns them that their academy is now Iscariot's next target, and her allies from Iscariot are more than capable of destroying the Royal Biblia Academy in their absence. Without wasting any time, the group decides to return to the academy quickly to support Levi and Yu. Despite the danger, Arata activates his simp mode and remains determined to find his cousin and uncover her true motives. Suddenly, red laser beams start raining down from the sky directly above the academy building, throwing the students into a state of panic. Confusion spreads as everyone struggles to understand what is happening, while the teachers attempt to calm the panicked side characters. Levi decides to take charge, announcing that she will go alone to confront the white-haired girl floating above the academy, shooting laser beams like a Superman, but 50% off. Outside the academy, Levi steps forward to face Lu, her first opponent from the Iscariot mage group. As they clash swords, Lu comments that Levi is skilled with a blade. Levi, in return, expresses her respect, saying it is an honor to be praised by someone like Lu, who is renowned for her mastery in high-speed combat with dual swords. Levi mentions that she is currently ranked number 3 in the world rankings, to which Lu, after thinking for a moment, remarks that then she must be ranked 2nd, and Levi agrees. The headmaster stands on the sidelines and cheers for Levi like a dad at a Little League game. She asks her to help him instead, but with a serious smirk, he points towards a girl wearing a hoodie like an idiot in summer and says that it looks like he is having a dual date with her. Meanwhile, from her dream world, Yu reassures Levi that all the students are safe and have been transported to her dream world. This news fills Levi and the headmaster with a deep sense of relief, and the headmaster comments that a school can always be rebuilt, but a mage's life is irreplaceable. Yu and Selena show their support by wishing Levi good luck and cheering her on like an overly enthusiastic cheer squad. When the fight begins, Levi takes a leaf and whistles through it. Lola asks about this kiddie behavior, on which Levi tells that she is expecting some help, and until then she is buying time. She does not waste any time and activates her hidden mirage ability. Many copies of Levi appear around Lu, all moving exactly like her and making it impossible to tell which one is real. Love attacks with pinpoint accuracy, but her strikes hit nothing but empty air. While Love focuses on the illusions, Levi sneaks behind her and presses a kunai to her neck and warns her opponent that she can end the fight here. However, Lo remains calm like a Giga Chat and blocks Levi's attack effortlessly by spinning her blade in a swift motion. The headmaster watches the fight like a season finale and praises her for almost landing a solid blow. Lu decides it is time to stop playing around and retaliates with a flamboyant 2-slash strike, leaving Levi with no chance to defend herself. The blade cuts deeply into Levi's chest and the arena floor is stained with blood. In her dream world, Yu feels her composure slip as her heart aches from seeing Levi's pain, and her worry causes the dream world around her to crumble and starts breaking apart. Back in the arena, Levi refuses to stay down and forces herself back to her feet with determination. Lu rolls her eyes and tells Levi to give up. Levi realizes that it is time to use her last resort and pulls out the Master Card to unleash her last magic crest. Yuven, the headmaster, tries to stop her as it may end her life, but she activates the last crest of her magical book by clenching a kunai between her teeth as she summons the magic Leviathan. The air shifts as lightning and typhoons erupt across the battlefield, creating a swirling chaos that traps Lu. For a brief moment, Lu seems impressed and silently acknowledges Levi's power. However, her expression quickly shifts to one of cool calculation. Lu studies the spell's patterns for a moment, and with one simple motion, she dispels the typhoons as if a soft breeze were blowing them away. As she scans the battlefield, Lu realizes that Levi is nowhere to be found. She smugly thinks she has won, but then the mage in the hoodie steps in and reveals that Levi used the storm as a distraction and ran off. Meanwhile, Levi and the headmaster have already retreated toward the school. Meanwhile, far from the chaos of the battle, Arata, Mira, Akio, Lilith, and Erin find themselves in a crumbling structure. As they explore, they recognize it as their own teleportation device now in ruins. With no way to get back to the academy quickly, Lilith decides to take matters into her own hands. She asks the group to support her as she attempts to fix it. Everybody agrees to her suggestion, as it is their last resort to stop Iscariot. Back at the school, Levi, now fully recovered, returns to face Lu again. This time, her movements are faster than before, thanks to the healing of her left hand, which had been injured previously. She decides to take a different approach and begins weaving sharp shadow threads that wrap around Lu, restricting her movements. For a brief moment, victory feels so close, almost within reach. But then Love activates her own magical book, which is similar to Levi's but much stronger. With a flick of her wrist, she summons her 3 legendary weapons: the Bannock Lance, a Fragarak sword, and the Klom Sola's wings. Without even trying, she slices through the shadow threads, breaking free with ease. She smirks and tells everyone that she too is a Demon Lord candidate and her magical power is infused with a demon lord element. Teleporting quickly to Levi's side, Lo strikes her chest with devastating force. Levi collapses to the ground. Meanwhile, in her dream world, Yu feels her connection to the battle slipping away, and her despair only grows stronger. Just when it seems like all hope is lost, Selena emerges from Yu's dream world. Before Lu can decide what to do, Selena activates her camera and clicks a picture, triggering her binding spell. The spell glows like binary code of some nerd software developer, wrapping around Lu and tightly binding her. However, Lo remains unfazed and easily breaks the spell without a second thought. She attacks Selena, who is still protecting Levi, and punches her down so hard that the floor cracks beneath them. Thinking her opponents are done for, Lu turns toward the headmaster, ready to fight him next. But the headmaster calmly rejects her proposal, saying it looks like someone else is stepping in to fight her. As Lo smirks, Selena steps forward, her calm yet determined expression suggesting that she has saved the best plot twist for last. She reveals that she has switched consciousness with her twin sister, Lieselot, who had been trapped in the realm of frozen time for years. Now that Lieselot is free, she steps forward, ready to fight Lo as an evil mage of the Trinity 7. Lo attacks with incredible speed, moving faster than anyone can follow, but Lieselot teleports just in time to dodge the strike. She tells Lu that her magic isn't compatible with someone like her. Lieselot then focuses on strengthening Selena's binding magic, making it stronger than before and wraps it tightly around Lu. Not one to back down, sacrifices one of her legendary weapons to break through the bind. She fires a crimson laser at Lieselot like Homelander from Black Market, but Levi steps in and traps her with a swift movement. The two of them, in perfect sync, push Love back onto the defensive. Just when it seems like victory is close, Lo smirks and says that they can defeat her when she's alone, but they won't be able to handle her when both of them fight her together. Lieselot and Levi are caught off guard by the sudden appearance of another opponent. She tries to convince Lieselot to join her side, offering her power and control. But Lieselot, staying true to her friends, turns down Hijiri's offer without hesitation. Hijiri's calm expression fades as she calls Lieselot a traitor and says she'll punish her with death. Her eyes narrow as she prepares to unleash a massive magic sphere, meant to wipe out everyone in her path. At that very moment, another black hole tears through the ceiling and Arata's team bursts into the scene in their usual chaotic fashion. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief and feels reassured when they see the rest of the team. Arata steps forward, but this time, his usual cocky grin is replaced with a serious, determined expression. Hijiri, acting like a sadist, seems pleased to see Arata. The tension in the air grows heavier as Arata steps forward, ready to face Hijiri in a confrontation that feels more like the climax of a blockbuster movie. Everybody activates their high magic mode and connects them to their archives, giving off Wakanda Forever vibes. Meanwhile, above the arena, the headmaster and the mage in the hoodie have a quiet conversation about what to do next. The mage casually pulls down her hoodie, revealing a cute, lowly face with pink hair. The headmaster, Biblia, addresses her as the Master Liber, the headmaster of Biblia Academy, and also a paladin, just like himself. She turns to him and asks what the next step is, clearly hinting that she's ready for a fight. Headmaster Biblia, however, calmly responds that if two world-class paladins fight, it could very well end the world. She laughs playfully at this, and Biblia suggests that instead of fighting, they could make it a bet to see which Demon Lord candidate will win the fight, and Headmaster Biblia, trusting Arata, places his bet on him. Back on the battlefield, Hijiri transforms into her true Demon Lord form, radiating power with a dark spell strong enough to obliterate everything in her path. But Mira acts quickly and immediately steps forward to block Hijiri's first attack with her White Universe spell. The barrier globe shines brightly as it absorbs the full force of the blow, sending ripples of energy across the battlefield that quickly fade away. Mira, looking confident, tells Hijiri that she has already analyzed all three of her themas and magic from Arata's magic, as Arata shares the same Demon Lord element and magic. Before Hijiri can respond with another attack, Akio sees an opening and charges towards her. However, just as she's about to strike, Lo steps in to block Akio. Determined, Akio sends a powerful blow towards Lu, who defends herself, but gets overpowered by Akio's strike. The blow is enhanced with Akio's mantra and Yu's magic, which shatters Lo's weapon and sends her flying straight into a nearby wall. Their continuous assault destroys Lo's remaining weapon piece by piece, leaving her helpless. When her final legendary weapon shatters into glowing fragments, it is clear that Lu can no longer fight, and she collapses to the ground with her strength completely spent. With Lu out of the way, all eyes shift to Hijiri. Levi and Lieselot launch their attacks on her, but Hijiri effortlessly blocks and deflects them, leaving the two of them confused. They can't help but wonder what in the world is going on, as those circles are usually used for attack spells. Hijiri casually reveals that the magic she's using has another name that is Baldur's Blessing, which is both an offensive and defensive technique. Upon hearing this, Erin looks stunned, and when Lyse asks her, she explains to him that this is a legend bestowed by the god Baldur. Erin adds that she's the only one who can counter the defensive part with her magical spear, while Mira will have to handle the offensive attacks. Erin steps forward with her usual poker face now filled with determination. Meanwhile, Levi and Lieselot run directly toward Hijiri, pretending to attack, but Hijiri quickly realizes it's a trap and turns her attention to Erin, as she knows that Erin will try to break her magic circles. Just as she's about to strike, Levi pulls off a 5D chess grandmaster move, and using her special body wrap ninja technique, she swaps bodies with Erin, taking the blow herself and creating an opening for Erin to strike. Before Hijiri can even process their switched positions, Erin strikes from her blind spot, directing all her energy through her demonic spear. For a brief moment, cracks appear in Hijiri's seemingly impenetrable magical circle. Sensing the opportunity, Lilith and Arata join forces. Lilith calls upon her magic to create a powerful gun, and Arata combines his abilities to fuel the attack. Together, they generate a massive ball of magical energy that grows larger and brighter, its immense power building like a tidal wave. They launch the attack toward Hijiri, who braces herself, the vortex of magic quickly swallowing her whole. The dust and debris slowly settle, revealing Hijiri lying on the ground. Her demonic form fades away. Arata approaches, trying to wake her up, and carefully lifts her into his arms. When she finally wakes up, she congratulates Arata and admits that she underestimated him because his magic was already depleted. That, she says, is the reason she lost today. As a reward for his victory, she decides to tell him the truth about the world. Hijiri begins explaining what happened when she was pulled into the collapse phenomenon created by Arata. She describes that she was thrown into a world outside their own, which was a terrifying place of emptiness and nothingness. In that void, she came across something so unnerving it made the previous world seem fake, as if everything she had known was just a sweet and blissful dream. Yet a part of her felt oddly happy. She says that she was aware of the fact that Arata's parents were not with him, so she took the chance to pose as his cousin and looked after him. Over time, she grew to enjoy being with this mischievous lolicon and was grateful for the moments they shared, even though they were fake. She continues that she was not able to stay by her side until the end, but the naughty actions of this lolicon changes her heart. Hijiri continues, describing how she eventually lost her sense of time in that void and began to feel herself fading away. Just as she was about to vanish entirely, a sudden surge of magical energy appeared. Miraculously, she found herself able to see the world from the outside, like watching events unfold in a magical globe. What she saw left her stunned. In that globe, she witnessed a future where Arata, alongside the witches from Trinity 7, had destroyed the world. After the destruction, the world became a void, transforming into a realm of nothingness. From this emptiness, a new world would eventually be born. However, even in the new world, the Demon Lord and the Trinity 7 would find each other again, only to destroy it once more. She reveals that she has seen this cycle repeat countless times, with the Demon Lord and the Trinity 7 ending worlds over and over. Hijiri explains that she grew tired of this endless loop, realizing that the place she was taken to after the collapse phenomenon was actually the future of their current world. She tells Arata that their world is caught in a closed loop with no escape. She warns that this cycle will repeat again, with a Demon Lord candidate becoming the Demon Lord and destroying the world alongside those 7 from Trinity 7. She confesses that this is why she plans to destroy the world before it happens again. Her goal, and that of Iscariot, is to collapse the entire world and create one where Arata can live peacefully without being bound by fate. Arata, showing unexpected maturity, reassures her not to worry. He reminds her that his thema is control, capable of controlling even a Demon Lord. In a hold my beer stance, he declares that if the world has decided its course, he will simply control the world itself. Hearing this, Hijiri smiles warmly, calling it a wonderful goal. As they speak, a blue light begins to surround her. Arata looks at her in shock, but Hijiri calmly explains that she does not have much time left. She reveals that her body is already gone and she is nothing more than a fragment drifting through a rift in space-time. Her body starts to transform, slowly crystallizing into a blue gem. Just as Arata reaches out to take it, the pink-haired headmaster from Biblia Academy intervenes, using her magic to claim the crystal for herself. Arata yells, demanding to know why she would do such a thing, upon which she responds by describing that she is also part of Iscariot. She explains that Hijiri is too valuable to lose, as she has immense power which is capable of combating even a Demon Lord. Arata, visibly distressed, asks if Hijiri will survive. The headmaster assures him that she will not die, but she adds coldly that Hijiri is now their trump card for taking down the future Demon Lord Arata. Instead of reacting with anger, Arata surprises everyone by asking her to take care of Hijiri. He promises that one day he will come back to save her. The pink-haired headmaster chuckles at his sentiment and declares that she will turn Hijiri into the ultimate anti-demon lord weapon, one capable of defeating Arata himself. With a playful smirk, she vanishes into thin air like a magician, leaving Arata and his companions to process everything. With the immediate threat gone, the group regathers to recover from their injuries, though the weight of the recent battle still lingers in their hearts. Later, Arata sits alone in the garden staring at the sun and recalling his moments with Hijiri. Lilith approaches him and gently asks if he would join her for a walk. He agrees and they head toward the town together. As they walk through the streets, Arata realizes it is his first time visiting the town since he transferred, and Lilith smiles as she tells him that is why she brought him along. When she asks where he would like to go, he flips the question and asks her to choose since she always takes care of him, which makes her cheeks turn red as he thanks her in his usual playboy style. They decide to grab something to eat, completely unaware of the fact that Aaron, Selena, Yu, and Levy are trailing them from a distance, hiding like wannabe 007s and watching their every move. Arata and Lilith step into a cozy restaurant and are surprised to find Mira working there in a maid costume, who becomes flustered upon seeing them and asks what they are doing there. Arata begins teasing her, but before she can respond, Akio enters in his chef's uniform and explains that she owns this place. She tells them that her creation magic lets her create amazing dishes, which surprises Arata. She then offers them a seat and a large feast of various dishes for free since it is their first visit. After finishing their meal, Arata and Lilith continue exploring the town, visiting shops, enjoying a cafe, and sharing ice creams, while their four stalkers keep following them like curious shadows, sneaking snacks themselves and watching every interaction. As evening falls, Arata and Lilith sit on a bench, watching the sunset paint the landscape in warm colors. Arata thanks Lilith for showing him around, and she admits she enjoyed the day as well. He then slyly asks if she is being extra nice because she thinks he is depressed over losing Hijiri. Lilith blushes and says it is one reason, but adds that despite his ridiculous powers as a demon lord candidate, the way he treats everyone, including powerful mages, as regular friends is why she and the entire Trinity 7 loves him, though his womanizing tendencies drive them crazy. Arata, flustered by her sudden heartfelt confession, remembers his role as supreme commander of the Sim squad. With a mischievous grin, he leans in and asks her to close her eyes. Lilith panics, turning bright red, and stammers that he should at least consider her feelings first. When he presses on, she nervously closes her eyes and pouts, bracing herself for a kiss. But Arata, in true troll fashion, places a purple necklace around her neck instead. He proudly explains that he bought it earlier from a shop and says that it is a magical anti-magic amulet for protection against evil spells. Even though she's way too powerful to need it, he says he doesn't want her to get hurt, which leaves both of them blushing. Just as the mood starts to turn sweet, the bushes behind them rustle, and the Stalker Union emerges, proudly featuring its dedicated members Aaron, Selena, Mira, and Yu. They grow in unison, labeling the scene as next-level TikTok cringe and declaring they cannot endure it any longer. Everyone laughs, and they decide to have dinner together at Mira's restaurant, ending the day on a cheerful note. As the evening fades, Arata looks at the stars and softly promises Hijiri that he is happy now and will never let his friends suffer again. He asks her to just wait for some time and vows that one day she will also laugh with them, sitting at the same table. With determination burning in his heart, Arata clenches his fist and gazes ahead, ready to face any challenge. The story closes with the group walking into the vibrant streets, their laughter echoing through the night, united and unstoppable.